the most commonly used means of transport. It is our noblest invention, complex by design, simple by nature. The humble bicycle. A bicycle, popularly known as a bike, sometimes referred to as a push bike, pedal cycle, or just cycle. A bicycle is a human-powered, pedal-driven, single-track vehicle having two wheels attached to a frame, one behind the other, propelled by paddles and steered with handlebars attached to the front wheel.
Once you get hooked to the activity as such, it is it is a demanding activity. It is a very difficult thing to cycle 100 k's in a day, 50 k's even. But it is so addictive that once you get hooked to it, it's really tough to get out. Whatever happens, early morning, 6 o'clock, 5:30, you wake up and you go out for your ride.
Although controversial, it is said that the earliest bicycle designs are drawings by Leonardo da Vinci in the 1490s. The first contraption that can realistically be said resembles a bicycle was constructed around 1790 by Comte de Sivrac of France. Called a clarifer, it was a wooden scooter-like device with no pedals or steering. In the late 1820s, German-born Karl Dries von Sauerborn invented the improved two-wheel version of the clarifer, called the Lauf machine, a German word for running machine. The steerable Lauf machine was made entirely of wood and had no pedals. A rider would push his feet against the ground to make the machine go forward. In 1871, a British engineer, James Starley, designed the first fully functional bicycle, called the penny farthing, or commonly called as the high bike. It was the first really efficient bike with pedals, steering, and brakes. By the mid-1890s, British inventor John Kemp designed the first safety bicycle, called the Rover's Safety Bike. It had a steerable front wheel, two equally sized wheels, and a chain driving the rear wheel. And so the first modern bicycle was born. It's only taken 200 years of innovation and invention. Today, the total number of bikes in the world is estimated around 1.5 billion, of which around 600 million are in China itself. By 2014, the number of bikes produced annually will exceed up to 150 million. Comparing it with the automobile production, bicycle production has doubled since 1965. Today, China, India, the European Union, Taiwan, and Japan are responsible for 87% of global production, of which China alone has some 58% of the global market, whereas the Netherlands has the highest man-to-bike ratio.
This year we went to a couple of bike shows. One was Eurobike in Germany and the other one was the Taipei bike show in Taiwan. So I learned a lot of exactly what is happening internationally about cycling. I learned a lot about how many companies are there in existence. The industry is about $1,200 billion. About 2,500 companies operate and sell their wares on the international markets. India as such is really tiny. The overall demand outside is so big because producers are not in India. And the market is also not in India. Most of the cities, in Europe, for example, in a local family, in a very basic middle class family, you will see one car and four cycles. In Italy, this year, 2011-2012 financial year, the number of cars sold were less than the number of cycles. Okay. Now, with these proportions, you can imagine the number of cyclists who change, who race. So it's insane outside India.
Outside India, the bicycle culture has evolved to a point where cycling is more than just traveling from point A to B. More number of people are involved in this activity for the sake of sports, entertainment, health and leisure as compared to the Indian society, where still majority of the crowd uses it just as a means of transport or work-related issues.
I'm Alain, I'm from France and I started a world tour 6 months ago. So I will be on the road for 2 years, I think. I started in France. I crossed mainly Eastern Europe, I crossed Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, Romania, Croatia, Serbia, Greece, Turkey, a lot of countries, nice countries. And then I had to take a plane above Iran and Pakistan because I didn't get the visa to cross by land. And so I arrived in Delhi on the 15th of October 2012. And then I started my journey from in Delhi and I went to Rajasthan. I went to Jaipur, Ajmer, Pushkar, Pratapgarh, Ratlam, Indore. I've seen the Ajanta Ellora caves, and then I came to Pune, where I am now. And I will continue to Goa, then I'll try to go to Pondicherry and Chennai, and then from Chennai to Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, China, Korea. I'll take a ship to Korea and then a ship to Japan. Then from Japan, I will definitely take a plane to America. Then now my plan is to go on the west coast, from north to South America. And then in South America, I'll do a big tour, I think, from Bolivia, Argentina, Brazil.
Even though majority of the Indian public uses the bicycle as just a means of transport, there are people who have started to acknowledge the power of the mighty bicycle. With more and more people pursuing cycling as a hearty passion and a serious profession, the future seems bright and green for the city.
My name is Sami Makki. I am the founder of Ride 2026, which is a bicycle organization in Pune, India. And this was basically set up to promote the sport of mountain biking and BMX in India way back in the late 90s. So a group of friends came together and found out that this is a very extreme and different sport that does not exist in our country, which is otherwise a cricket crazy nation. And we wanted to go off the regular track and onto the beaten track, get onto the trails and see what mountain biking is. So back in 1996, we started mountain biking. We didn't even know what it was called back then. We just thought we were doing something new and adventurous till we realized that it's actually a sport, an international sport. From then onwards, we took it as a mission to promote and propagate this sport in India. And Pune being our hometown, we started from here.
पुणे शहर हे सायकलिंगसाठी किती फ्रेंडली आहे, सायकल फ्रेंडली आहे तुम्ही म्हणू शकता?
सायकल फ्रेंडली म्हणजे आता मोठ्या चौकात तुम्ही चौक जर सायकलवर क्रॉस करायचा असाल तर त्याच्यासाठी तेवढ्या कमी वेळामध्ये येणारी एखादी मोठी मोटरसायकल तुम्हाला तेवढी जजमेंटच राहत नाही. त्यामुळे सायकल पुण्याच्या गर्दीत चालवायला अवघड आहे चौकांमध्ये. तरी सायकल प्रतिष्ठानवाले वगैरे खूप दर काहीतरी फर्स्ट संडेला वगैरे त्यांची रॅली काढतात, ते खूप प्रयत्न करतात.
Pune has got the local civic government of Pune. They have set up a lot of cycling tracks, but these tracks are not properly governed or they are not charted out and routed out. This needs to be revamped, and Pune at one point of time was referred to as a cyclist city in India, and this title has to be brought back to our city. The only way to do that is for the cyclists to feel safe when they are on the road, because the size of Pune growing rapidly has also put a lot of automobiles on the road which are threat to cyclists. So these lanes have to be, I feel these lanes have to be governed and charted out and mapped out nicely again, and a lot of cyclists can make use of this project.
The point is that the cities have to put lanes and to to help people to take the bicycle, because if you take the bicycle and you're in the traffic and with crazy people driving, then after at the end of the day say, okay, I quit I quit cycling. So if the cities help cycling, help people to cycle and take their bicycle, everything goes right, and it's better for the people, for the city, for everybody. It's really nice. So
A bicycle is nothing but circles turning circles. It's the human motor that makes it elegant.
in fact, you don't need to be really a sportsman or something, or Superman to do a world tour. You just have to start, and when you start, it's okay if you're not fit. After 3 weeks, you will be fit. So and you get used to everything. Then, so I think everybody can start around the world and do 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 kilometers with a bike. But you have to choose the bike, maybe the good bike and the equipment that you take. But then it's quite not so difficult. It's quite easy to cycle.